Welcome to America. Let's see. Can you speak English? No. Do you have any education? No. Do you have any skills? No. Do you have any money? No. Do you have any family here in the States? No. Okay. Do you have any plans of creating a life for yourself? No. Okay. Let's say that we could put you in a town tomorrow. Would your plans for the future then be to help the community around you become better and brighter for a future for the whole community? No. Oh, okay. What would be your plans for that community then? Get a job, send the money back to where I came from. Make any money that you can and send it back to the country in which you came from. Right. Okay, I don't seem to have a box for that here. Okay, so let me get this right. You don't speak English. You have no education. You have no skills. You have no family. You have no hope to make a better community around you in the future. And you're only going to work to save money to send back home to the country in which you illegally came from. Welcome to America. We'd love to have you. Welcome to America. Oh man, I know y'all seen the fight with the migrants in New York City a couple days ago, well probably a couple weeks ago now, with the police in Times Square.
We begin tonight with a disturbing crime caught on camera showing a group of people punching and kicking two NYPD officers in Times Square over the weekend. So far, 5 arrests have been made, but 4 of those suspects have already been released on bail. Well, Ashley Rodriguez is live in Times Square with how police are responding to this disturbing incident and what we're learning about those responsible. Ashley, that video just appalling.
That, where 5, 6 of them jumped the fucking police and got released that day, the next day, by old fucking whoever that clown DA is in New York. I can't ever remember this guy's name. He's the clown.
Look at this. Here's one suspect flipping the bird to the cameras. He could care less. Another blows kisses as he smiles and laughs. The other suspect next to him also putting up the middle fingers and cursing at those reporters. Remorseless, brazen, smug.
But of course, we've all seen that. Somehow, yesterday, I seen this video. The amount of questions I'd have just in this one little clip, one piece of paper, I couldn't get all the questions I'd have for it. It really actually boggles the mind when you start to believe that there are people like this clown.
The National Guard directs them to an intake center, roughly 20 minutes away on foot. But community organizer Power Malou and others step in to get the migrants Ubers while handing out snacks.
We first triage, we listen to their stories, we listen to their needs.
Are you overwhelmed?
No, I am not overwhelmed. I am a little bit upset that we are going from one whole year and we still have people sitting in hotels and in shelters, and we have not done the proper outreach.
I don't know what the fuck his name is, but he's some operator, top dog of some non-profit. Makes a hell of a living off of getting grants and funds from the feds. Some fighting for the causes of every single person that comes into this country. He don't fight for citizens. He only fights for you if you come in here illegally. I know my dude makes a real good living doing that. But I somehow seen that clip of the police trying to lock that guy up in that migrant center. I struggle to imagine how anybody's fighting to keep this going at this point. And I know it's a whole mess. I was watching some James Klug video the other day, man on the street type shit, and he had a board, said something like, Joe Biden is responsible for the border crisis. And this one random old middle-aged white lady comes walking up and hits him real quick with the...
If the Republicans would pass what Joe Biden wants them to pass, we'd have a lot of things solved at the border.
Right. Wait, do you mind if I ask you what they're looking to pass?
That's kind of based, honestly, like shows up, says something retarded, refuse to elaborate, walk away.
Of course, she rolled out real fast on that. She went there, dropped her MSNBC talking point real fast and got up out of there before they could ask her any fucking questions. Of course, fucking Biden had a border bill, all fucking, just this much of it went to the actual American border, and it was solely just to hire custom agents who could file more of these cases of the people coming in day after day, sending billions to the Ukraine, billions to Israel. That fucking package was such a fucking bloated piece of shit bill that I can't imagine how that woman thought she was in good faith arguing the point she thought she was arguing coming up to James Klug. But man, we need such an overhaul of everything that's going on at this point, because I imagine this is truly how you want to, if you really want to destroy a country, if you really want to just bring a country to his knees, it'd be this way right here. And I get there's a million different topics, there's a million different problems and issues and all sorts of things. This immigration situation is by far the biggest cyst that the country's got growing right on its forehead. It's fucking become this goddamn big at this point, and yet we got what seems like children at the fucking steering wheel when it comes down to it. But you just in that one little clip, so many things came into my mind. Just imagining how, one, the police are not on the street doing all the other things that we expect the police to do. We now got police on the clock at the migrant center, locking up people, using resources, using manpower, locking up people that shouldn't even be here to begin with. And I know motherfuckers love to throw that asylum shit out there like every single person that come through the border is seeking fucking asylum. That ain't the case, folks. And if you truly in your heart of hearts believe it, I can't imagine what it'll ever take to get you fucking wake up. Because this is such a fucking mess. You just imagine going to a country illegally nonetheless, claiming asylum. Of course, that ain't how that fucking works. But that'll be the only lick of English that motherfuckers know. From around the world. I'm talking about China, India, Africa, South America, any fucking where in the world. Asylum. Fucking just roll the red carpet out for them. And I just start to begin to imagine the money that's being spent in every nook and cranny of every bit of this. Man, I saw some article the other day about how New York City is debating giving debit cards loaded with a certain number of money on it each month for a couple hundred people of these migrants that are already paying for everything else in the world, shutting down hotels, all sorts of shit. And there's a woman, I can't think of her name right now, I'm gonna show the article right here, but there's a woman who works for AP, and her job is debunking misinformation. That's her fucking job. This bitch gets paid to fucking do this shit. One of her articles was how about there's false claims of illegal migrants in New York City getting credit cards. Well, that claim to her, because she read a fucking line somewhere on Twitter that migrants were getting credit cards, that she wrote a fucking article about how there's false claims of migrants getting credit cards when in fact they're getting debit cards. In the fucking article linked to the difference between what a credit card and a debit card is. God forbid somebody called it a credit card on Twitter. Shorty is getting paid to write articles for fact checking that type of shit. And you check like her body of work. It's just a whole sleuth of fucking anything somebody from the right said, putting some bad faith spin on fucking all of it. But you just imagine the people that are making livings There are companies, there's fucking groups of people who are getting paid from the allotted money that the feds put aside for this mess. Because we ain't got enough people to deal with it. These people gotta hire companies to come in and feed these people. They gotta hire companies to go in there and do the medical work, do all the other stuff. Bro, it's just a fucking mess. It is such a joke that I don't know how we're in this particular with this immigration shit. Because, dude, once you start seeing them fighting the police, you see them fighting the only thing this country has, in a sense, of law and order. It is the symbol of American fucking law and order. And you got motherfuckers in here fighting the police. And yet you turn on CBS Good Morning America. You see my dude in there. Talk about it ain't enough. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more. It's not enough. Oh, they're complaining about the cold food. Oh, they complaining about the bed. They can complain their ass back home. Like I just imagine a world where I could do what these people are doing in reverse. Or I could up and go to Greece and just asylum. I can't speak your language. I ain't got $1 in my pocket. I don't got a family in your country. But I want you to feed me, clothe me, house me, take care of me until I can get in a position to take care of myself. Hopefully, of course. But you hear Eric Adams and you hear all these people talk about, they just need a right to work.
Mayor Adams says there's another complicated issue at play, the right to work. Legally, migrants must wait 6 months after they've applied for asylum before they are eligible for work permits. And due to backlogs, the wait could take years.
What specifically can you do to address that issue of migrants not being able to work?
We're going to do the duality of calling for rightfully the resources for the city. Even something simple as calling a state of emergency. If the president does that, it allows us to get resources.
According to current and former senior U.S. officials and internal documents, the White House has been reluctant to push ahead policy changes because of legal risks, political optics, and a spike in border crossings. The White House emphasized in a statement to CBS News its commitment to working with cities, but said ultimately Congress needs to approve additional funding.
What would you say to President Biden if he's listening right now?
The precursor to sleep, to enjoy the American dream, is the right to work. The right to work. Let them work.
That's what Yason Silva, who fled Colombia, is hoping for. I really want to work. I pray to God a lot for this. I beg every person I speak with to help me.
No, they don't. What do you think? What do you think employers are going to do with people that are in here illegally by the skin of their teeth? Just by the skin of their teeth are they in this country? And then to imagine we're going to give them an option to work. You can't even speak the fucking language. You can't speak the language. You got no skills. You got no education. That's just the bottom fucking line. 95% of these people can't do much of anything. They might be good at one particular thing. But without speaking the language and without fucking meeting the requirements of everything that matters in this country, you can't just go get a job. We ain't just... It fucking boggles the fucking mind. When you hear how people frame all this stuff and how they talk about it, and how New York with 100,000 of them, Chicago with 80,000 of them, and yet their whole tune flips when it becomes overbearing in every sense of the word. There was a fucking clip of the homeless in New York City complaining that the building they live in looked down onto the migrant tents, and they could see in there how they got Xboxes and couches.
Well, Dana and Dick, if you're forced to live in a 65-year-old former psychiatric hospital that's been turned into a men's shelter, you can't help being jealous of the soft landing the city is providing for migrant men newly arrived from South America, especially if you have a bird's-eye view of the new facility.
We get treated better. They get treated better than us. That's not fair.
They treat you wrong like you're lower than nothing.
Gabriel de la Cruz and Lee Brown live in a men's homeless shelter that is about 350 yards as the crow flies from the new tent city for migrants opened by the city this week. But in terms of treatment and quality of life, the centers are poles apart. The pictures tell the tale. Men at the Migrant Shelter, who are only supposed to be here for 4 days, have a recreation room with multiple TVs, plush couches, telephones for calling home, Xboxes, foosball tables, and games. The recreation room at the homeless shelter, where men stay indefinitely, has a single TV and uncomfortable molded plastic chairs. That's it. The migrants have a cafeteria with condiments on the table, a rotating menu of South American specialties, even bottled water and soft drinks in coolers. There are no condiments on the tables at the shelter. Water comes from a red and yellow jug, and the meals? Overcooked mac and cheese appears to be a staple.
Oh, the food is gone, man. Forget about it. The food is just garbage, man. It's not cooked well.
Lee Brown says the elevators are always broken.
I'm a diabetic. Right now, I got to walk up 6 flights of stairs. 7 flights of stairs.
Both men say Mayor Adams should even the playing field.
He should make it even. We've been here for the longest, and we're getting treated the worst.
I put the question to the mayor.
This is not about comparing those who need assistance and care from the city. We're not doing that. There's always going to be reasons that people are going to feel as though someone else is getting something better than them. My job is to make sure everyone gets a place to sleep that's safe, 3 meals a day, and the support that they need so they can cycle out of being in the shelter.
The mayor ducked the question of whether the cost of caring for the 21,000 asylum seekers who have now arrived here will force the city to cut other services.
And it's an economic challenge. We need money from the White House. We need to allow people to be able to work.
And I get it. I fucking get their argument. And I'm trying to tell you, if it was a choice between giving tax dollars to the homeless or giving tax dollars to any and everybody who comes through the border tomorrow, I'm picking the homeless. I'm picking the fucking homeless. And I got my fucking arguments against all that. But ultimately, if it's a choice, because I'll be damned if you can continue just to do both forever. Motherfuckers got it in their head where there's always more. There's always more that we can take from somewhere else and now give it to these people who ain't put a penny into the entire system. Who just, if you could just imagine what that Darien Gap looks like every day. That part of Mexico where everybody's just snaking their way up. And it's just, bro, I can't imagine what the purpose is of any of this stuff. Because it ain't good. It's only gonna destroy it all. It's only gonna ultimately just turn it all to nothing. That's what it will do. It will turn America into wherever these countries came from. Because, bro, you see it in Europe. You see it with Sweden and all the other number of spots that brought in hundreds of thousands of these people that don't want to be part of your culture. They don't want to speak your language. They don't want to live how you live. People just refuse to accept that. A lot of these people don't want to come in here and be American. They want to come in here and take advantage of your system to send the money to their family back home. But same with Sweden. You get all these people that can't do anything. They can't weed their way into society because it's two different worlds in every sense of the word. And then you got people who you're given just enough to survive as they sit and watch a world of unimaginable wealth to them. What do you think that does to these people over time? Live there a year, 2 years, 3 years, just barely surviving, can't do anything. They might as well be handcuffed in a sense of what they can accomplish in that country. Eventually, you will reach a breaking point. You will reach a breaking point where they don't give a fuck no more and they're just gonna want to destroy it all. Because it plays a fucking trick on the psyche where you just sit here and watch everybody else doing so good. Everybody else living this life you wish you could live, but you can't. You won't. There's too many of you. You fucking start bringing in thousands, hundreds of thousands of fucking people a month. I just don't get how people are still fighting for this. Or how, like, when you hear a Democrat or a Joe Biden or any of these other people, they speak in real simple generalities, real simple fucking terms that just brush over all the troubles of everything that come with it and just watch it all just fall to shit. Like, yo, could you imagine being one of them cops that had to go in that migrant center and lock old boy up while you got every fucking grown man in that goddamn place throwing anything that wasn't nailed to the floor at you? You're in there fucking ducking, bobbing fucking book bags and cots and fucking shoes and shit. Who knows why they locked the dude up? I imagine, yo, you had to done something to made the police go in there and get you. Because I promise you, them police don't want to go in there for nothing petty. Meanwhile, they just let everybody destroy every fucking thing that made this country what it is. But until we get some actual adults who can call these problems out as they're seen, as they are, without sugarcoating, without bullshitting around all of it, I don't know what, I can't even imagine what all it truly takes to stop just the flood of all this stuff. But even then, even fucking then, just imagine we do get to that point where we can stop all this stuff. It's too late. It's too late. And I'm almost glad I won't be here in 50 fucking years to see how all this shit unfolds. God bless America, huh?